2 years ago I was in the best shape of my life, and this is me running a 4:34 mile, but after that I have lowered my weekly training amount to less than half. So how much slower do you get after 2 years with that little training? That is what I will find out today. Before I go to the track to see how slow I have gotten, or hopefully I haven't gotten that bad, I thought I would briefly talk about what my training looked like before I did my 4:34 mile and what it has looked like lately and why I have trained so little. Before I did my last attempt on the mile, my weekly base training looked something like this for a long time. In total about 90 kilometers of running and 10 to 14 hours of training each week. I hadn't been sick or injured for years and had had a great consistency in my training. But after that all-out mile attempt, I got some different injury problems, and a couple of months after that, me and my wife became parents for the first time to twins, which of course have been amazing in so many ways. But it has also been a big life change for sure, with not that much time to dedicate to training combined with very little sleep. But although my new life situation made it hard to train as I used to, I really didn't want to become one of those parents who says, I don't have time to train at all, and start growing a dad bod. I think that a bit of training is always possible to make time for and necessary to prioritize if you want to be the best version of yourself. But knowing that I was not going to be able to spend as much time on training as I had done before and not be able to recover from hard training sessions due to poor sleep, my goal with my training went from trying to improve and become a faster runner to trying to maintain an as good fitness as possible. My training has looked something like this, with an average weekly volume of about 40 kilometers and 4 to 5 hours of training each week. So how well have I succeeded with my goal of keeping in as good shape as possible? That is what we will find out today, and I'm actually a bit nervous because I'm afraid that I've gotten way slower than I was. If I don't still run a sub 5-minute mile, I will be very disappointed. There I start my all-out mile, and as a coach and someone that is really interested in training, I was actually really curious of how I was going to do, and I saw this as sort of an experiment. But as I said, I was also really nervous that I was going to have gotten really slow. Because besides me lowering my training amount a lot, I have also been sick a lot the last couple of months since the kids started going to daycare. So this all-out attempt was actually the first time I was trying to run fast in a really long time. My goal and what I hoped to be able to do was to run around 4:45, which is a time I would have been really satisfied with knowing my training background. So I went out trying to pace myself for that at least. When I did my 4:34 mile, I was aiming for a sub 4:30, and then I opened the first lap in 1 minute and 8 seconds. This time around I knew that an opening like that would have been way too optimistic, and I would have to pay for that later. Instead I was aiming to start at a pace around 1:10 for the first lap, and I was really happy to see on my watch that I ran the first lap in exactly 1:10. But what I was not happy with was that I already were feeling pretty bad in my legs with 3 laps to go. Besides losing some of my fitness from training less, another thing that I think you lose from not doing any hard training sessions for a while is that mental aspect of being able to push yourself through intense pain. Especially running by myself without any pacer, it was hard to motivate me to dig super deep. But I tried my best, and I think this second and third lap is the worst part of running a mile, because you know that you have quite a long ways to go and you're already feeling the pain pretty bad. I should mention 2 things that are different from my last 3:34 mile attempt. Then I was running in spikes, and this time around I ran with the Nike Alpha Flies. The reason why I didn't make this the same was simply because I thought it would be too big of an injury risk for me running in uncushioned spikes with the poor training background I have. One other thing that gave me a disadvantage this time around was that the last attempt I did it with the pacing help, having my friend Oscar pacing me on a bike, which helps a bit both in terms of motivation and also to take away some of the wind resistance. As you can see on screen, although I tried to push hard and keep the pace I set out in, I slowed down quite a bit on the second lap, coming in at 2:23 after 2 laps compared to 2:19 on my last attempt. I'm still within reach to run under 4:45 with a good second half, and I'm not terribly much slower on the halfway mark actually compared to my younger self. But directly after starting my third lap, I feel that I might have started too hard, because I'm really struggling to maintain the pace. I think it's at this part of the race that my lack of training volume and harder workouts are really showing. And at this point I'm worried if I'm going to run under 5 minutes. But I try to say to myself to push just one more lap, and then it's just the last lap, which although it is always painful, I always enjoy it in a way, because you can just give everything you got and you know that you soon get to lay down on the track. I'm fighting hard to just get through this third lap, and as you can see on the graphic to the right on the screen, I have slowed down way too much, doing a 1:15 lap. So I'm going to need a 1:07 for the last lap to get a 4:45. And I'm ready to push hard, but speeding up that much is going to be difficult in the shape I'm currently at. The last time when I ran the 3:34, I did a really good last lap, running 1 minute and 5 seconds for that lap. But then again, training works, and it seems like my lack of training is starting to show. But I wanted a reality check, and this all-out mile really motivates me to get back to a bit more training again. And if I get to be less sick, I might do a month of more proper training and see how much I can lower my mile time with 1 month of good training. Comment down below if you want to see that. We can already see that I'm going to be way off what I was able to do 2 years ago, but I'm fighting hard to at least run under 5 minutes. .4:49, at least I haven't gotten super slow. If you want to see me get more tired, click this video to see when I try to run a sub 4 minute mile in a downhill.